Well, firstly, Thomas, how are you coping with the weather? It's wet and windy. It has been all week. Has that had any effect on training, or you just get down to it and do your job?
I think the sun is always shining, isn't it? On top of everything. So we need to be pleased with what we're doing. It's part of it. So we deal with it and move on.
Again, off the back of great positivity last weekend as well, everyone lifted. The run continues. The gap to the top two came down. There must be a lot of smiles on faces around the whole training ground.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think we all know if you're winning football matches, the mood is lifted and everybody's a little bit more happy. But in general, very good atmosphere. People are in a very good place. Good people around the place, and we want to go in the same direction. Everything is aligned. I think that's a big part of it, and we just try to make ourselves a little bit better every single day.
I've been thinking of how to ask this next question, so I'm going to phrase it in a certain way. You're aware of bingo as a game?
Yeah.
Right.
So you need to have three. Yeah.
And I suppose maybe aware, although a very healthy man drinking your carrot and whatever juice, you're aware of drinking games as well.
Yeah.
So
I'm quite good to a few of them. Like supposed to be.
Is there a transfer window bingo or transfer window drinking game that takes place here at Brentford? Do you mark off every time that you're asked about Ollie Watkins or you're asked about Said Benrahma? Is that how you keep it fun?
That's a good question. No, actually, because I would say this time, compared to some of the other times I've been here with transfer window, I think it's pretty straightforward. I know one side we have some really good players here and some really good players that are performing at this moment in time, and that always make extra interest, at least from the media. But on the flip side of that, we are doing very well as a team and as a club. So I've said that a few times. Everybody's just enjoying their football here. Everybody's just enjoying coming to work and improve. So it's very simple. People just want to stay here.
People want to stay here. The additions are being talked about as well. Another young man coming into the B team yesterday. That's an important part of the culture and of the overall view, though, of the football club, isn't it? That you make signings that go into there. And someone like Josh Da Silva, for example, is a poster boy for that because the progress that can be made from that development.
Yeah, 100%. I think actually we have a few prime examples of players developed the last couple of years and just keep improving to a high level. Yeah, of course, Josh is a very good example of for us. He came here last summer. No,
18 months ago.
18 months ago, and it took actually more or less a year for him to get up to the level we wanted in every aspect, and it was down to him to improve and put a lot of effort into it and a lot of bit, but also now we can use him as a good example, not only for everybody from outside the club, but also young people from inside the clubs when they feel it's a little bit tough because everybody wants to be in the starting 11, everybody wants to be a part of it and play minutes. And when they are not, he can actually say to some of them, they just want the best for you. There's a reason why they're quite harsh at you. There's a reason why they have quite a high demand. There's a reason why they do what they do. It's because they actually want you to improve. And if you listen, you'll have a good chance to be in a good place. So that's a fantastic story.
Does it help when it's so tight in the championship, looking below you? I mean, the top six, the race for the top six as a whole is quite tight. Yeah. Does it now help that there is definitely a real tangible target ahead of you? The gap has come down enough. Does that actually help with that motivation of, not only of you're reaching for something, so that makes you stay ahead of other people who are reaching for you?
That's a good question. Of course, I would say, put it this way, when you start the season, it's a very long season. Yeah. Now we're a little bit more than halfway, so there's still quite a few games to go before we need to see where everybody is ending in the table. So of course, if you're too far ahead of some of the fun parts, of course it could be a little bit tricky. But But what it's all about is how much we can focus on the next game and get as many points as possible. And if we lose a game, okay, analyze it, do well, get over it, don't get too emotional attached to that, but move on to the next one and try to improve and win that. If you win the next one, be very happy, celebrate a tiny bit, move on to the next one. And then at a certain point you need to do kind of a status. You don't do that in the end of the season. You need to, because I think the season going to different stages, and now we're halfway through. Okay, now the next bit is to go past the transfer window deadline.
Yeah.
Then we go through into a busy schedule in February. We know there's 7 games. Go past that once. So you try to break it down a bit without looking too much into the table.
So the next game then is Huddersfield, and in this run that everyone's been enjoying at Brentford in recent times, they're one of the teams that actually threw a spanner into the works. The way that they set themselves out to play at Griffin Park, they made it very, very difficult, didn't they? So that you know what you face in a Cowley's team.
Yeah, definitely. I just said to the boys, I think if we can go up there and win tomorrow and get 3 points, which of course is the aim, I think it would be a big statement, bigger than a lot of people from the outside looking into the championship, even people in the championship, because they look at a table who is close to the bottom, fighting for relegation, which in itself makes it a very, very difficult and dangerous game for us. We're playing away, which we always know is slightly more difficult for every team in this division, and we're playing against a team that last time we met them was a totally equal game. I think it was more likely a 0-0 game with no big chances or a close win. And last game it went to Huddersfield. So we know what we are facing. We know we are facing a team that since the Cowleys took over, they played 10 home games in the championship, lost 2. Won to Leeds, and I watched that game, and I think Huddersfield were better than Leeds in the first half. So it's a very, very difficult task, and we know they'll defend with their lives, and they're quite structured. They're good on set pieces. We know all about them, but they also know all about us, and you could see that last time. So for me, we're going to we're expecting an extremely tight game, where we again need to be on our absolute maximum. But are we on our absolute maximum? I've big belief that we can go there and get 3 points, but it'll be the small details that can define this game.
It's interesting you say about statement game, because a lot of people looked at, say, for example, the West Bromwich Albion game away from home as a potential statement game. I think we talked about that. But you look at this and go, not necessarily about league positions, just about the nature of the opponents that you face, and actually your team, your players that you send out there can make a statement moving forward.
Yeah, I think so, because I think also if you look, yes, we're in a bit of a good form, but the game against Millwall, we lost 1-0. In a 0-0 game, we made one mistake. The game against Blackburn, we lost 1-0. In a fine game from us, we actually created enough chances. But in this league, it's not. You can't just I want to get 3 points. It's every team have their own style. Every team want to approach it differently. Every team want to do everything they can to win it. But some teams are just slightly more difficult, and we saw that last time against Huddersfield. So me, a big raise of awareness to everybody who is supporting Brentford and care about us, and to the players. We need to go there with the absolute. Try to our absolute maximum of level to get 3 points. But of course, I believe we can. The big thing.
And final question. I mean, you probably won't want to answer this, but tomorrow early kick-off. Some Brentford fans may be cheering QPR tomorrow, playing Leeds.
Oh, true. Actually, didn't know they had their early kick-off. Yeah, I think maybe tomorrow they're cheering QPR.
Brilliant. Okay, thanks, Tom.
Okay, thank you.